Thank you. Welcome, Lance Johnson, our co-curricular director at Portland High School. We currently have co-op between Portland and Deering, have had for a number of years. Portland is the host school in the context of the co-op. In a moment, I'll turn it over to Lance to speak about kind of pursuing expanding that co-op to serve our student athletes here in Portland. Just a reminder in terms of co-op process, we do some engagement. We monitor across our athletic programs to determine when and if there's a need. What we are looking to is to maximize opportunities for participation for student athletes is what's important as we evaluate co-op opportunities and ensure that never there would be a situation that would diminish that opportunities for our student athletes. We, after doing local engagement, come to the board for a vote and approval, which then goes forward to the Maine Principals Association, who's the ultimate decider around co-op programs in the state. So again, kind of the authority really rests with the MPA. Co-op commitments are for 2 years. So it's just a commitment for 2 years before those have to be kind of re-upped in terms of continuing the co-op. So as you're familiar, we did an engagement around the boys hockey program last spring in terms of establishing that co-op, which is all set up and underway to begin their season here in still a few more weeks. But we're bringing forward needs that emerged over the summer in terms of our girls hockey program. So I'll turn it over to you, Lance, as I get the presentation up.
And just kind of an overview of hockey. In the state of Maine, there's a lot of co-ops, boys and girls hockey programs, but particularly in the girls. There are schools there are teams that have as many as 8 schools combined for co-op hockey. We felt pretty strongly we could survive this year, and I think we probably could with our Portland, Deering, and Casco Bay students. But where this is a 2-year cycle, if we don't get into a co-op now, next year, I think our numbers will be really low. We have a pretty big senior class this year as far as our numbers go. So this summer, on the advice of our coaches and families and some of our players, we started looking into this co-op for girls hockey. And so numbers wise, we're looking at our best guess 13 to 15 players. We do have 2 goalies in our program. We probably could field a team, except if we had some injuries, numbers would get to a point where it'd be hard maybe safely to play some games if we had some student athletes that got hurt. Some other programs were reaching out back and forth to us. We had some conversations with one program that we decided I didn't think we wanted to pursue a co-op with, because, to be honest with you, most of our players would be their JV team. And it wouldn't be a meaningful experience for a lot of our players. So we did have another program come forward. Cape Elizabeth, South Portland, and Waynfleet have had a co-op. And so we started talking to them. Their numbers are very similar to ours. Both programs have about 13 to 15 players. And I think a lot of our players could have a meaningful experience playing with them, meaning that many of our players would play on the varsity team. But some of our less experienced players would play on a JV team where they could develop their skills and participate more safely in the program. So I guess that's why the co-op. Would it take opportunities away from any of our Portland Public School students? I don't believe so. The girls that will play will still play. Will have meaningful experiences in the varsity level and the JV level, and maybe more of an appropriate level for some of our players to develop in this program together. So I talked about the numbers. If we're looking down the road, we have 13 returning players this year, three incoming 9th graders. And our middle school program probably could not sustain a program moving forward with the numbers that we see in our middle school program. So having a co-op with other teams will give us a chance to move forward down the road and have a team that can compete and compete safely. And we did survey our families and players. We had 18 respondents. 15 of those respondents were in favor of the co-op. Only one person was not, and two others just had some concern. They're more asked questions about numbers, which was part of the survey. So I just clarified that what the numbers were like. Basically, about 15 players from the co-op team, with Cape, South Portland, and Waynfleet, about 15 players in our program. And so those what the numbers look like. And our survey results were pretty in favor of doing this. And as far as cost, we will share some ice expenses. The good thing about being in Portland is we have the rink, and so it makes us an attractive partner with people. So, these other programs would share in the cost of the practice time, the game time. So there'll be some savings. I envision one of our coaches still continuing on with the program, and then one coach from Cape Elizabeth, South Portland, Waynfleet, coaching the team. So there'll be two coaches. Sorry, I jumped ahead and talked about the survey first.
That's okay.
Fine.
Sorry, Aaron.
All good content, but yeah. Okay. With that, we can open it to see if there are any questions about the hockey co-op proposal.
Any questions? Just double check Zoom here. I mean, I think we got to have great conversation when we just talked about the boys co-op. So I feel like all of the questions I would have were answered in advance. But anybody else have? Oh, thank you. Board Member Opperman.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make sure that both of our goalies get to play. You know, will the girls get to play? I mean, that's the big thing if you get a bigger team. And
yes, the program, the main need from the other side was they didn't have any goalies.
got it.
So our
All
two
Thank
goalies
you.
are looking good.
Put the puzzle together. I love that.
Yeah.
No, I love this creative problem solving. I think it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you for your work in finding good solutions for our young people.
And thank you to the board for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lance. Thanks for being here. And so we'll bring this back at the first meeting in October for approval, at which point Lance will be able to move this forward in partnership with the athletic directors from the other schools to MPA for approval, because the girls season actually, because of the demands on ice time, actually starts a little bit earlier. So we are eager to kind of move this forward. So thank you all.
Yeah, and just so the board knows, the other communities have approved
Okay.
this. They don't go through the kind of their process a little different than ours. So they're all on board and ready to go.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lance.
Thank you, folks.
Awesome. Good job, everybody.